I'm Gochenauer, the Oncology Practice Lead at Psyma International. Oncology treatment is constantly evolving. With better research, therapeutic options are becoming more personalized, which provides manufacturers more opportunities to enter the market and meet patient needs. Licensing products and acquiring biotech companies is a constant in oncology drug development, as companies continually need to refresh their pipelines, as clinical trial failures are an unfortunate constant in oncology. Another constant is cutting-edge research seeking new MOAs to attack cancer. This is evident with the recent wave of approvals and ongoing development in immuno-oncology. With 6 PD-1 and PD-L1 antibodies already approved in the US, and the market reaching saturation with this specific MOA, companies are looking to find the next IO candidate with a new MOA. While checkpoint blockade with PD-1 and PD-L1 antibodies has been effective across a range of tumor types, the truth is that a minority of patients experience deep and lasting responses, and yet even those who respond may ultimately lose the response. This so-called IO resistant is an emergent issue through oncology. The industry is hard at work combining checkpoint blockade with other immunotherapy targets in hopes of increasing the duration of response for PD-1 sensitive patients and pushing those who are insensitive or only partially sensitive to PD-1 blockade into a complete response. One of the industry's first attempts at overcoming IO resistance was combining IDO inhibitors with PD-1 inhibitors, but the IDO inhibitors have been dropped by several companies due to lackluster phase 2 and 3 results, leaving the industry to wonder if IDO is a bad target, if the current IDO inhibitors were structurally flawed, or is there a better way to target IDO? Companies are now focusing on other promising next-gen IO mechanisms of action in combination with PD-1 and PD-L1 antibodies. Several of these targets that are being investigated in phase 1 and 2 include LAG3, OX40, and GITR, so there still is hope that hitting two different immunotherapy targets will be an important MOA moving forward. As companies are continually evaluating external opportunities to fill gaps in their pipeline with one-off licensing opportunities, but more and more companies need to take strategic approaches to pipeline management. It includes not only IO, but other MOAs as well. Many of our clients are asking us to assist in optimizing these approaches. Now I'll share with you our view on an optimal approach to early asset and pipeline evaluation. External approaches can include strategic fulfillment of portfolio gaps, such as searching for next-gen IO targets through licensing or through strategic biotech acquisitions. In this case, companies with a next-gen IO in development may be looking to partner with one of the major PD-1 or PD-L1 players, or vice versa, one of the major players may need to license or acquire a next-gen IO. Well-stocked companies may also have to manage resources and portfolios by prioritizing one cancer indication over another, or by prioritizing one research program or asset over another. For example, launching a PD-1 or PD-L1 antibody in metastatic non-small cell lung cancer right now doesn't make a huge amount of sense, as Keytruda and Opdivo and Tecentriq already have impressive data in several key first-line indications. Launching an IO in an earlier line of therapy, for example, like Imfinzi's approval as a maintenance therapy after chemoradiotherapy in stage 3 lung cancer, makes more sense. Or even companies might think about other cancers other than non-small cell lung cancer, perhaps small market opportunities where IOs are not yet approved or have only minimal penetration might be more prudent. These smaller indications provide opportunities to get their IO to market quickly, while also developing the drug in other larger indications. These types of pipeline evaluations are optimally done using a multi-phase consultative approach with our clients, utilizing primary and secondary market research, as well as feedback from internal medical, clinical, and commercial personnel. We routinely utilize an objective, data-driven approach to develop a decision algorithm that utilizes a combination of secondary and primary market research to quantitatively rank opportunities. In the case of evaluating IO targets, this could be a series of products or companies with next-gen MOAs that could be acquired or licensed. Aspects that we typically take into account include history of success for the MOA, compatibility within the current portfolio, synergistic MOA, quality of preclinical or early phase data, and market cap of the company or market potential for the drug. Another typical business challenge is when a company has to prioritize which cancers or lines of therapy that represent the best opportunity for clinical development. Depending on the goal of the exercise, a cancer like non-small cell lung cancer might be rated highly because of its sheer patient numbers. And in the same vein, it could be rated low because of how many IOs have been launched or are in development for non-small cell lung cancer. Cancers such as cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma mentioned before might be rated low because of its low prevalence, but it might be highly rated in terms of speed to market, unmet need, and lack of competition. The sources of information that we typically use in these exercises include clinical trial databases, competitive intelligence reports, epidemiology for market sizing, secondary treatment landscaping data, and additional feedback from primary market research. The categories and the business challenge are all developed through a consultative approach between the client and Psyma. Our second step is to conduct internal stakeholder interviews with project management, medical affairs, pricing and market access, and marketing to understand their internal biases. These provide an opportunity to clarify past key tactics and strategies, and to clarify goals the company has moving forward. The interviews are integral to not only inform of any internal beliefs and biases about key competitors and possible weaknesses, but also to gain buy-in for the seminars and gain thoughts on possible outputs from the seminars. The next step in the process is to conduct primary market research to evaluate the series of top opportunities highlighted by the decision tool. The audience are usually KOLs, but should also include community oncs and payers. The goal of this research is to evaluate specific products or product profiles. It could also be used to further prioritize a series of cancers where a specific MOA could be developed. Or it could be a more general series of questions to discuss MOAs that are most promising. It really all comes down to the business question that we're trying to address. The research could follow a traditional qual or quant method, or it could be a qual-quant hybrid approach, such as Cybrid, or it could be a community-based research approach, such as SciDive. Feedback from the interviews with internal stakeholders, providers, and payers is then fed back into the decision tool to refine the prioritization. Depending on the business question, then we create disease, product, or company profiles based on the other key learnings from the primary market research and the reprioritization. These profiles are then utilized as a pre-read going into our strategy session. Our third step is to take direct feedback through qual and quant market research from KOLs, community oncologists, and payers to evaluate a top set of opportunities that arose from the quantitative decision algorithm. The feedback from the market research is then fed back into the same tool to adjust the opportunity prioritization. The final step to guide decision-making is a Psyma workshop which engages all of the internal stakeholders through the final evaluation process. As part of oncology pipeline and asset evaluation, our sessions guide clients through the decision-making process to determine the best opportunities to pursue. In the best-case scenario, the same internal stakeholders who were interviewed would participate in the workshop, but the attendee list could be expanded as well. Likewise, US and ex-US stakeholders should participate to ensure that global perspectives are taken into account. The workshop is designed to include breakout sessions to ensure greater participation among all attendees. The ultimate goal is to guide the decision-making process to develop consensus on the top 3 to 5 opportunities to pursue. Manufacturers face increasing challenges to innovate in drug development with the ongoing arms race in the IO space, so strategic assessments of portfolios and new opportunities are increasingly important in oncology. These assessments could be done in a budget-friendly fashion under time constraints, but would likely not lead to optimal decisions. Likewise, a quantitative decision tool using secondary research alone can be used, but not including primary market research and a strategy session could lead to suboptimal decision-making. Also, conducting primary market research alone might miss product opportunities and key feedback from internal stakeholders. So strategic sessions that take into account input from external and internal stakeholders are critical for a company to make optimal pipeline decisions. So let's start a conversation now about your business challenges in the oncology space.